Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is John and this is your Modern Tech Breakdown. Today I want to get into a deeper dive of the details of Apple's new private compute cloud that was announced at WWDC. Let's get into it. First off, why is Apple announcing this now and why is it necessary? First, for many years now, Apple has been cramming more and more computation, including AI features, into Apple devices without making use of external servers to process the data or execute AI models. But things have changed. AI has progressed to the point that mobile devices no longer have the ability to process the amount of data that are required for the modern AI models. So in order to keep pace with its rivals, Apple has designed a secure cloud infrastructure that they hope will convince its customers is safe enough to process the most personal forms of data contained on your mobile device. So now we know why Apple has created I'm going to call PCC. Let's talk about what it is. So the Private Compute Cloud, or PCC, is a specially designed cloud environment that aims to overcome most privacy concerns that Apple customers might have. Obviously, being a cloud services, there's no way to design a system that all Apple customers will accept. So I think Apple's aiming for the mainstream here, probably not going to be acceptable by members of, let's say, the Electronic Frontier Foundation. But let's discuss the privacy concerns that Apple has explicitly stated they wish to address with PCC. First, Apple recognizes that making security promises or guarantees are difficult to verify. Once your data leaves your device, it's often impossible to be 100% certain about how it is used, processed, and stored. Second, it's difficult for cloud services to provide runtime transparency for AI in the cloud, meaning it's difficult to assure the user of a cloud service exactly what software is running in the cloud. When a device makes a cloud request, it's difficult for the calling service to be certain what software is responding. And lastly, Apple outlines the difficulty of managing large-scale cloud services without providing reliability engineers or other system administrators fully privileged access to the production servers, which would allow for the leaking of private information through hacking or an insider threat. So Apple has created the Private Compute Cloud as a way of delivering the most modern AI services while also addressing these concerns. So what exactly is the PCC and how does it address these concerns? Let's start at the hardware level and move our way up. Apple's PCC is based on a new custom-designed physical architecture based on Apple silicon chips that include Secure Enclave and Secure Boot. You're probably wondering what Secure Enclave and Secure Boot are. Let's go into that. At the highest level, Secure Enclave is a secure, separate hardware system within Apple devices that is isolated from the main processor and allows for the secure storage of information. It helps prevent malicious code running on the device from accessing the information stored within the memory controlled by the Enclave. One of the main pieces of information that Apple uses the Secure Enclave for is biometric data used for Face ID and Touch ID. When Apple rolled those technologies out, they knew that customers might have some privacy concerns and developed the Secure Enclave as a means of assuring customers that their biometric data would be secure. So are you seeing a pattern here? Apple anticipated a concern, created technology to address that. So next, what is Secure Boot? Secure Boot's a little bit simpler. Basically, when Apple devices leave the factory, the read-only boot ROM, which is the first code to run when the device is powered on, contains Apple's root certificate public key. That key is used to verify that only code cryptographically signed by Apple can be loaded during the boot up process. This would have the effect of thwarting rootkit malware. Okay, so at the hardware level, we have Apple silicon chips, Secure Enclave, and Secure Boot. Nice. Before we move on, it's worth noting that Apple is also stating they'll be performing high-resolution imaging of the PCC components before the server is sealed and will have a validation process that is monitored by a third-party observer. This is all trying to secure the supply chain of the hardware that's going to power PCC. All right, now moving up to the operating system level. Apple has created a new operating system based on code from iOS and macOS. It includes code signing, meaning that code that Apple hasn't cryptographically signed will not run on the operating system. This is pretty strong protection against general malware. It's not a silver bullet, but it's a helpful tool. Also, as part of the operating system, Apple has not included standard tools that present an attack surface, specifically SSH and general system observation tools like debugging tools. Instead, Apple claims that they have created tailored tools that only provide a restricted set of operational metrics to Apple staff managing the environment. I mean, Apple must have a way of knowing if the server's running or not. That's just basics for running a cloud environment. And finally, moving up from the operating system level to the actual AI service itself, that is built on Swift on server. I'm not sure what the prevailing opinion is on Swift on server, but my guess is they could have built this on Node or something else just as easily. But obviously, Apple's going to prefer their own language, Swift. Okay, that's the stack. And then on top of all that, Apple is making further promises about how PCC will operate. First, PCC will be stateless and will not retain any user data beyond the point that the request is fulfilled. Second, Apple will never have access to user data, including staff and administrator access. And third, Apple is promising encryption from client request to the PCC cloud, meaning that no load balancers or other middleware will be able to decrypt the request. Only the PCC node that has the security features that we've been discussing will be able to review the request. And lastly, Apple is stating that all code that is run on the PCC node will be confirmed with cryptographic signatures that are stored in the secure enclave. All right, and then moving up past the node level to the network level, Apple states that requests to the PCC will be encrypted using blind signatures so that a request can be authorized but cannot be tied to an individual. Also, requests will go through a third-party relay so that IP addresses cannot be used to tie a request to an individual or a device. And lastly, Apple has committed to making software images of PCC nodes available for security research. Note, this isn't the source code, it's just a binary image. Apple has stated they will also provide a set of tools to aid with the security analysis, but they won't be giving all the source code. So I'm guessing part of those tools will be kind of defining sections of the binary and what they do and kind of pointing along the way as to how the code works. So wow, that's a lot. This is a very quick summary. But to summarize, one, Apple has thought long and hard about the concerns people will have with sending their personal data to the cloud. In response to those anticipated concerns, Apple has created new hardware and software with security features beyond what many other architectures include. And three, Apple has made commitments to how their AI services will operate, including providing binary images of code that will provide these services. So lastly, this is not a security-focused channel. Others in the industry can pass judgment on what Apple has done here. What I will say is that Apple has clearly gone to lengths to address privacy and security concerns of its customers. And as such, from my perspective, they're putting the faith that people have in Apple on the line. This is almost a brand promise at this point. So I think it would be quite risky for Apple to break these commitments in a meaningful way or kind of play fast and loose with the details. That said, the Apple brand will be meaningless for some, or in fact be a negative for the hardcore privacy-minded folks out there. I'm talking about people running, Linux, Kali Linux, or Tor, or those types of folks. I get it for those folks. There's nothing Apple can do to address their concerns. They never want this type of data to leave their device. I get it. But I suspect for the normie crowd out there, they will focus on the cool new features and will probably be fine with Apple's approach here. But time will tell, I suppose. And on that note, this has been a long one. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.